It's Halloween in New York City, and designer Hillary Wallace has turned her Upper West Side brownstone into a spellbinding celebration of creativity and imagination.
So the theme is potions and witchcraft and just, light kind of darkness, but very sophisticated. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds very cool.
It all started with a trip to a giant warehouse auction in Pennsylvania, where pallets of pumpkins stretched as far as the eye could see. Hillary wandered the aisles, marveling at the endless shapes and sizes, and by the end of the day, she had hauled home 4,000 pumpkins, each one destined to play a part in her fantastical Halloween display.
I had to get my grand prize winner. It was 162 pounds. I really wanted to get the one that was 590 pounds, but I just didn't think it was going to fit on the stoop. So next year I'll figure out how to get it up there.
Her stoop is now a world of potions, pumpkins, and playful mischief, layered, glowing, and filled with tiny surprises around every turn.
And then here again, we have, our little friendly rats. These are the best kinds of rats to have in New York.
Step inside and the enchantment continues. The parlor comes alive with floating witches' hats, flickering candles, and the feeling that you've wandered into a haunted New Orleans mansion, equal parts sophisticated and witty.
Eyes are always very important to make sure someone's always watching what you're doing, because we, as witches, always have an eye on you.
For Hillary, Halloween isn't about fright, it's about delight. It's her chance to create, to play, and to remind everyone passing by that a touch of imagination can turn even an ordinary city block into something truly magical.
So behind all this chaos, there's a story. And I love that when people walk by, you see them smile. And it sounds corny, but it's true. You walk by and no matter what's going on in your day, you're like, this is really funny. And that's what I like about it. And it's just magical. And it's my version of, I guess, Disneyland that I can create. That's what I love about it.
To watch Hillary's full episode ad-free, scan the QR code or click join below.
Hi, Homeworthy. Welcome to my haunted home. I'm Hillary. Come on in.
This fall, Homeworthy is all about the season's magic. We're stepping inside homes transformed by autumn's colors, where pumpkins aren't just decorations, they're statements.
We went to the auction in Pennsylvania and brought 4,000 pumpkins back, and I have them all on my stoop, and the neighbor's stoop, and the other's neighbor's stoop, and the other neighbor's stoop, and my backyard.
Where shadows and candlelight mingle to create a hint of spookiness, and every corner tells a story.
And so the theme of this was friends are coming over for a nice dinner. It clearly turned into a bit of a bloodbath. We have some candles and some transitional pieces throughout. There's like teeth and guts.
From extraordinary Halloween displays to cozy gatherings at home, we'll explore spaces that feel both enchanting and inviting.
For the tablescape today, I really wanted to capture all these deep sort of jewel tones for fall. These gorgeous reds and deep purples. They really are rich and inviting.
Plus, in the kitchen, we're celebrating the flavors of the season with dishes that bring warmth, comfort, and a touch of whimsy to the table.
Remember that fall isn't just about the foliage changing, but it's about the mood changing even in the house. And that has to do even with what you're cooking, right? So today we're going to make a really moist, fabulous apple cake.
So light the candles and enjoy our autumnal series, because nothing says home like a little spook and a lot of heart. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Welcome to Hillary's haunted house. All right, guys, this is the moment I know everybody's been looking for. I got my Halloween outfit on, the Mistress of Darkness. Woohoo! All right, We have spent a long time putting this together with a lot of details, with a lot of our little creatures. And as you know, we went to the auction in Pennsylvania and brought 4,000 pumpkins back from the largest pumpkin auction in Pennsylvania, or should we say in the United States. So I brought 4,000 back from the auction, and I have them all on my stoop, and the neighbor's stoop, and the other's neighbor's stoop, and the other neighbor's stoop, and my backyard. So I'm gonna show you as much as I can, but right now we are gonna focus just on my stoop. So the theme is potions and witchcraft, and just, you know, light kind of darkness, but very sophisticated. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds very cool. So what we did is we kind of, with our spell books, with all of our creatures, and they come out at night. The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at, okay, sorry. And so we have snails, and then we have all of our cockroaches, and the kids love counting them at night. And it looks like somebody left me a bucket of eyes. It's really cute. We have a lot of people leaving us cute little gifts at night. What the greatest thing about this auction is when you bid on them, you bid on them by the pallets. So you have to bid on them, at least per pallet is about 200 to 300 pumpkins per pallet. And that's how you're buying them. So let's say you want the ones with the bumps. So you bid on them and you're getting 300 to 400 pumpkins. Or you want the Cinderella pumpkins. Or you want the gourds. So that's how you bid on them. So that's how this happened. And so as you see, our theme is potion and eyeballs. See, we have the big eyeballs, and these eyeballs are from a place called Big Shiny Balls. I swear that's what it's called, Big Shiny Balls. And we just like the idea of, you know that song, somebody's watching you, and we like that idea. And they light up at night, and it's really cool. And we just like the fluidity of them kind of moving around. And then one thing I have this year that's totally new that I love are these face pumpkins. Look, that's Dracula. No, that's Frankenstein. Frankenstein. I'm not sure what that guy is. And then that's Dracula over there. So basically what they do, sorry, I got a hand here. Basically what they do is they put them in a mold when they're growing, and then when the pumpkin grows out of it, the shell busts open, and it makes these really incredible face pumpkins. So those have been a very big hit this year. So I love those. So we just created this really interesting pile of pumpkins. You know, I love stacking things because it creates for more dimension. Let me put the hand back. He was right there. And we have our snakes friendly in, and we have our Spanish moss to create almost, I was kind of feeling like a New Orleans vibe, Dracula haunted house, all in one. And that's what we were going for. And as we move on up, you know I had to get my grand prize winner. It was 162 pounds. I really wanted to get the one that was 590 pounds, but I just didn't think it was gonna fit on the stoop. So next year I'll figure out how to get it up there, and we'll just have to have everyone climb over to get in. So I was very excited for my grand prize winner. And then here again, just we have, you know, our little friendly rats. These are the best kinds of rats to have in New York. And then again, my eyeballs. And we have the little skeleton guys holding them up. And then at night, I have green lights, which is kind of cool. And we have the eyeballs light up there. And it's so pretty. And then we have all these lights that glow up. And that's our theme. And then we have, oh, I want you to come meet Barry. Barry's very important. So this is Barry. So Barry's been with me now. See, I know, it's so ridiculous. Barry's been with me probably for about 12 years now. And kids really like him. And he does scare a lot of kids on the block, but yes. So that's Barry. And he's holding down one of the tombstones here. It says, for rent, very small 1-bedroom. So that's kind of cool. And then we come into this area here, which we thought was, You know, for us, it's all about detail. These are cockroaches going all the way up, and it is great because there's a school over there, a French school, and the kids come over here, and I'll be in my office, and I just hear them counting the bugs in French, and I think, what a great New York moment. They're learning French and how to count bugs. And so then we come down here. Of course, I have an Amazon package. You know, more of our potions coming down, and this all lights up at night. We got our fingers stewing in our pots and our potions, and we have more face pumpkins. And this is just more of where the magic happens down here with our brooms. Actually, next week we're adding another layer up here. There'll be a version of more eyes, but we wanted to wait till we got a little closer to Halloween, so there's a little bit more magic till Halloween. And then, you know, we have the hands, which is fun. And again, it was just lots more layering. It's supposed to be like a little graveyard slash the caulders with the hands. And this all lights up too. Again, tons more pumpkins. And then even in my neighbor's yard, I added more pumpkins over there. They kindly let me do it. Yeah, so this is what's happening down here. Lots of pumpkins. He's smoking. Look, and he's drinking Rosemary Baby's beer, and he's having a cigarette. How funny is that? Okay, the thing that inspires me about Halloween is I get to be super creative, and I love being creative. It's you know, there's that one thing that really gets you going, and it's being creative. So I get to be creative. It makes people happy. I get to have fun doing it. It's the little things like adding the bugs and the eyes and taking the skeletons and creating the skeleton like a little story. So behind all this chaos, there's a story. You might not see it, but I see this story, what's going on here. And so for me, we've created a whole story behind this. And I love it. And I love that when people walk by, you see them smile. And it sounds corny, but it's true. You know, you walk by and no matter what's going on in your day, you're like, this is really funny. You know, and that's what I like about it. And it's just magical. And it's my version of, I guess, Disneyland that I can create. That's what I love about it. So I did not grow up with any type of seasonal stuff in California. You know, there's no snow. There's no really fall. There's really no seasons in California. I'd be the kid, if it would rain a little, I'd want to build a fireplace and put a turtleneck on, and it would still be 80 degrees raining. So I always craved seasons. I found them romantic. I loved the idea of it. So I always wanted to do Halloween. I remember we lived on a block, and I would put Halloween music out my window. And I was just, it was something I always wanted to do. So when I got to New York, I started doing it just when I was single and on my own. I would start doing little things. And then once I had kids, it was like almost I was allowed to kind of go crazy. And I just went nuts. I would start getting pumpkins everywhere. I went to the Halloween spirit store. I was buying everything you could, putting it everywhere. And it just kept growing and growing. And I love it. And it brings so much joy to everyone around. And it makes people smile. And it's just become part of who I am. It's Hillary Halloween, Halloween Hillary, Halloween Hillary. Oh, that's kind of catchy, Halloween Hillary. So I did not grow up with this, but now I think my kids will become Halloween people. I hope I have passed that on to them. Ooh. Okay, we are entering the parlor floor, and I'm going to take you around my ancestor portrait wall. Whoa. So first, we have to talk quietly because we don't want to wake any of them right now. This is my Aunt Bertha, right here. Aunt Bertha, Aunt Annie. And these are very old portraits. And you have to get a little close to see what happens at night. This is my Aunt Gertrude up there. That's my third cousin Are you following that? And that is, up there is my uncle, deceased Kenny. All right? So these are my very important family members. And here's Buddha. He's got some issues going on. I got to clean him up a little. And this is a little sensitive here, but I'm going to put it on, but we can't tell anybody. Are in here. My trapped souls. Trapped souls. So now we're in our parlor and we have our fireplace on. So a little later we can stew up some spells just for a little bit later. Oh, here's our spell book. We've got a little roach. Let me just get it off. Just kidding. And we have our little spell book. So tonight I'll be sitting here reading my spell book while I relax in my haunted parlor. So we have our candles ready for tonight for our little potion making. And here's the potions, which I cannot share with you. Very, very important. I'm going to put the little bug back. Put him right there. And we have our flowers. And what's important is we put a little blood in there to keep our dead roses alive. You get it? Our dead roses alive with the blood. And then we have our witch hats, what we have going across the whole floor, because we have to maintain that we know it's for witches only. That's very important here. We can't let other people in. It's witches only. And then we have all of our beautiful roses. And, oh, someone lost their eye, and we leave that in there. And then along here, we created this beautiful, warm feeling of how our haunted house feels, with a little sophistication. Eyes are always very important to make sure someone's always watching what you're doing, because we, as witches, always have an eye on you. So we sort of created this warm moment with more flowers there with the eyes on you. And for me, it's just about layering and layering and layering. And then we have tons of cobwebs we just can't get cleaned up. And we did the best we can, and we have black cobwebs everywhere. The painting is Jeff Mies, and it's actually a beautiful painting, and we got it in the Hamptons. And we love this painting because we used to go paddleboarding in there. So it actually kind of brings you into the sunset, like you're paddleboarding in there. I love this painting. It's one of my favorite paintings. It looks like we should have just kind of thrown some cobwebs, but that's not really what happens. To string everything up and to do all the details, this actually took us a full day and a half, because what you want it is to look easy and effortless, right? But a little sophisticated. So this took us quite a while, because when I do stuff, we do a lot of details. You know, you see details on everything, like the little bugs, doing all these, the candles. Everything you see here takes a lot of time. With the spiders in there, you're putting the lights, you have to put these together, and you're constantly moving things around to see how it feels. And so for me, it's not about just getting like one big object and putting it there. For me, it's about layering, because that's what really creates the moment. You know, you want it to be scary, but a little sophisticated too, because it has to work in the element of your space. So a perfect example, I'll take you back to the family wall of the family tree. Like, it's just adding, you know, this little thing, the little body of the skeleton, you know, and we just added, you know, some of the cobweb thing. And I still want my house to feel sophisticated, but, you know, we just add a little body hanging, you know, and it creates this whole element. And I wanted to leave my paintings up, but I added my family tree that we're just dying to get on the wall. Sorry, I couldn't help that one. The vibe of my house, when it's not in the style of haunted decor, is a New Orleans feeling. So we were trying to bring in the haunted decor feeling with a New Orleans kind of decor feeling, which is a good vibe for a haunted house, right? You think of New Orleans, Dracula, witches. So since there's a good amount of antiques I've bought from New Orleans, I thought that was sort of the right vibe to bring in for the Halloween theme. So this is an antique store from New Orleans. The chandeliers from New Orleans. I had these chairs made in New Orleans, and I had this chair made in New Orleans. So for me, I felt like it was the right vibe to bring in that New Orleans kind of jazzy, haunted house feeling. And especially with my ancestors' pictures next to this New Orleans mirror, it really brought it together. And I felt like there was a good, combination for them speaking together. In fact, my Aunt Mary probably was born about the same time this mirror was made. Maybe she can speak about that a little later tonight when she comes alive at night. Okay. Here's our dog, Frankie, who is alive and well. This is actually, Frankie is Frankie, or you can call her Frankenstein for now. And this is our little Frankie. And these are her great ancestors. All right. That was Puglet. And I think this was, I can't remember what this dog's name was, but that was definitely Puglet. That would have been Frankenstein. And that was Puglet. And so we have them here to remember them for Halloween. All right, Frankie, but don't worry, Frankie. You've got a long time. So we have them there to honor them. I found this place. It took us several years. We looked at multiple places before we found this one because I had a lot of specific things I wanted in a house. I didn't want it too big. I didn't want it too small. I didn't want to be in a co-op. I didn't want this. I didn't want that. So we were limited on what we wanted. And I found this place and I walked in and it really did sing to me. And I know that sounds weird and people say you know when you know, but I knew when I knew. And when we bought this place, I said, oh, we don't have to do anything to it. No work, we're gonna move right in. Well, 2 years later, after so much construction, we made it more of what we wanted. And that's how we found it. And we moved in and we love the Upper West Side. We love our neighborhood and I love my home. And it's become a family home. My friends' kids, my family from California come here, and we've really made it a home that we hope we have forever. Well, I'm from California. I'm from LA. I moved here for work, I want to say 30 years ago. Wow. And I didn't know if I was going to stay, but I came because it was one of those dreams. If you could make it here, you can make it anywhere. And so I came, and my career just took off. I started working at Ralph Lauren in the design department, and it was just a jackpot. It was just, I met the most amazing people. My career took off from there. Then I met my husband. Then I got married. Then I had kids, and I started my own business. And then, it was just like, whew, from there. And I never left. And it's been a really cool ride. It's been a really great ride. And so we're still riding that wave, and we're gonna continue to. I wanna say I was born into it. I've been doing this since I've been a little kid, whether I was playing with dolls or erasers or whatever I was playing with, I was always redoing everything. And in fact, I was a kid in the house where my parents would say, stop touching our stuff, stop rearranging. So it kind of was just a natural thing for me. And I actually went to college to be a newscaster. And that didn't work out so well for me because I was really bad at reading the scripts. So that didn't work out great for me. So what I realized in college, I was helping everyone do their dorms, and I was always helping people. And then I realized that was it for me. And then I'm going to grad school for it. And then there from history. And it just always was fun and natural. And somebody said to me once, find something that you love to do and make money doing it. And I was like, wow, that's a novel concept. And that's how I got into it, and it's been really great. So I'm gonna bring you into the kitchen, but I did wanna show you one thing. So when we are having parties, which we will, especially when the group of my witch sisters come in, we will close this. So when they're doing their potions, you get total privacy, which is very important. Plus, I love these Portier curtains. I mean, look at these. Come on, guys. You can't get better than these. All right, so then we open it up, and we kept the kitchen a little bit more mellow, so some cooking can happen in here. And we needed one place in the house that wasn't too crazy. I do want to share one very important thing that I got from a very important person outside. Somebody drew me a picture of the outside of my house, Eloise. She drew pumpkins and the eyeballs and a witch, and then wrote her name. This made me so happy. I love Eloise, so she drew this and gave it to me. It made me so happy. This was right on. So back to the house. So we carried the witch theme all the way through the house, you know, put the cobwebs, except I forgot. My husband was cooking and had a little bit of a problem. Oh no. He splattered some blood. Uh-oh. He lost a finger. That's a problem. Well, I guess sometimes people just have bad luck when they cook. Well, we can talk about that later. You know, sometimes less is little. All right, so now we're gonna go into the dining area. And again, we wanted to keep it Halloween-like, fall-like, New Orleans haunted house-like. So we created the spiders. We really like the idea of the spiders. And, you know, this whole theme creates with, you know, all the gourds, the pumpkins. We kept the Ganesh in here and created this unique, a lot of layers in here. Again, creating the spiders, and then all of a sudden you see the spiders going up the stairs, which we really liked, still keeping it kind of free and easy and open, because our house, we like the idea of it open, and it also kind of takes you to the backyard, which we'll go to after, because we have about 1,000 pumpkins back there too. And then we come into the dining room where we actually still eat here. And we created another moment here. And we have, of course, you need a centerpiece. And then here's some more of my ancestors who I can introduce you to. And then these are some of the potions that we created with all the different lighting. And that's Gertrude. She was probably one of the head beginning of the family. And so this is where we do a lot of the potions. This is where some of the more potions are, but these potions get very dangerous. And so again, it's all about the detail, the layering, and bringing in a little color. But for us, we like to keep it, you know, the dark colors, the eyes, and candles make a huge difference for us. And least but most important are pumpkins and gourds. So that's what I got for you right now. And as you know, you always have to maximize your space. So I don't have an office space anymore because I got kicked out of it because they're making them into condos. So my office space, and I've always had this little space, this is my little desk area, which I really love because I sit here and I'm usually all over the place, but I love this little space. I got this in New Orleans too, but I love it because I face off the balcony. And I also just sometimes sit here and have tea and look out at my balcony, but I do love this little romantic space. So I hang here a lot, and this is a little cleaned up. But what I love about this, and there's French school across from us, so you might hear some French speaking cute kids. Oh, you definitely hear them. So this is my balcony, which I love. And we also, of course, we put our fabulous pumpkins and gourds out here. And sometimes I just hang out and sit out here. I can hear my fountain, and I just hang out here. I love it. I love tea, and I'll just sit out here, and I feel so happy. And it's just very chill. And also when we have parties, we'll move all this back. That's why I don't have a lot of furniture out here. And people will put like little tables out here, so it's a great place to have a party. But my next thing I'm doing out here, which I'll share with you guys, I want to build a greenhouse out here. So that's on my next to-do list. I'm adding it to-do list, is to put a greenhouse in here, is what I really, really want to do. So maybe next time you guys come over, I'll show it to you. Oh, I can put my orchids in there and keep all my stuff. Yeah, they're having a blast over at school. That's all I know. I want to go. So when we were looking for a house that took forever, we lived in a loft downtown in Soho forever. And when we were planning on moving uptown, one of the issues with townhouses is they're dark. And usually the staircase is in the front of the house. So you lose a lot of the first floor. And I love loft living because for me, I always like being in charge of the first floor. I like to know who's coming and who's going. You know, I'm like nosy Nelly. I like to know what everyone's business. And I loved the way this was set up because the staircase was already in the back. So what you have are these huge glass windows. And what's great about it is it faces a brick wall. So nobody's looking in and I can't see anybody. And you have this beautiful ivy that grows up. So for me, this whole floor, we have the parlor floor, we have the dining room and the kitchen. And so everything that kind of happens in this floor, I kind of get to see what's happening. And for me, I like it because it's open, the kitchen's in here, and this is sort of the heart of the house. And for me, that's what I love about it, with these huge windows. And these huge windows go from the basement floor, or not the basement, the ground floor, all the way to the top of the house. And so we get incredible light. And for me, that was really important, especially coming from California. I needed the light. Otherwise, I melt if I don't get the light because I need sun. I need the vitamin D. So that's why I like it. And I love plants. I mean, we took some of the plants out because it didn't go really with our vibe. But I love the light. It's just key to me. Okay, so for the kitchen, this house is actually super skinny. It's long and skinny. So you have to max out the size. So what we did here was we made it 2 walkways, and really, which is good for this size house because it's, like I said, skinny. And what's interesting is we entertain tons. So you know where you always end up when you entertain? The kitchen, right? Even when you're like pushing people out, get out of the kitchen, they still end up in the kitchen. So with this, you can create one big dining room table here if you want. There's things that pull out. So if you want, you can make this one big dining room table, which is great if you're having one big party. But usually what happens is we don't do that. We just push everyone out over there. But what's great about this is, you know, you can, when you're preparing dinner, you can either cook, you know, obviously you're cooking here, but you have a sink here. But you have this space so that you can cook, you can prepare, people can walk in, walk out. Because we will have up to 40, 50 people in the house. So you need to be able to direct traffic. So that's why this really works. For cooking, for having a party, for just lots of people in the house. And it's great for both cooking and entertaining. And especially, you know, this is the only walkway to the stairs. So this is almost, you know, your hallway. So this is your hallway. So if someone's cooking there, you have to have almost 2 separate, it's almost like 2 separate rooms. So we've made this the hallway, then this becomes your hallway, and that's sort of the cook zone. So if you have all the kids coming home with all their friends and all their backpacks, and you're cooking over there, you can't be disturbed. So that person can stay there. So this has many different forms for this. I mean, it's New York living. You figured out what works best for you. So that's what is going on here. Another thing, what I'm going to tell everybody, which is really important and super annoying. For Halloween, you have to get candles. If they're black or white or gold, I don't care what color you're getting, make sure it says that they drip. You don't want dripless because otherwise it doesn't give this really cool effect. So you have to read it on the package because otherwise you're gonna get all these candles sent here and they're gonna be dripless and it's not gonna look cool. And I'm telling you, you want that cool effect with the drip coming down because that's what makes the scary look. Look at that on the skeleton, look at these. So that's a look you're going for. So make sure it says that they drip, all right? That's all I got these candles on Amazon in black, and they say drip with red going down. So they're black with red going down. Got me? Okay. If you don't know what this is, then I'm gonna tell you. What really probably got me into Halloween was, besides loving Vincent Price, who no one's gonna know who he is unless you're over my age, is Vincent Price was the king of scary movies. He did the movie Wax Museum. Scary, scary movie. I suggest you watch it. But what really got me into it was a movie called Hocus Pocus with Bette Midler, who was Winnie, Sarah Jessica Parker, I don't know her name, but really funny. And it was Hocus Pocus 1 and 2. I must have watched the first one 35 times. It's the greatest movie. It's funny, it's scary, it's endearing. The costumes were great. Anyway, this is my shrine to Hocus Pocus. And I love, 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 love this movie. And I think every time I always do a Halloween theme, there's always a little bit of Hocus Pocus to my Halloween. Hence, even maybe this outfit a little. And one year we did a theme of just Hocus Pocus, and we did a wig for Winnie, we did a wig for her, and a wig for her, and it was so great. And it was after Hocus Pocus came out, number 2, and it was so great to see all the young kids knowing what the movie was. So I think this is where my true love of Halloween comes from after seeing Hocus Pocus. And I think everyone should see it. And I heard they might be making a number 3. So, Hocus Pocus, baby. Here you go. My little shrine to Hocus Pocus. Whoa! I love Halloween. I love to dress up. I love the fall. I love the smell of fall. I love pumpkins, as everybody knows who knows me. I love the energy of it. I like the parties. I like the candy. I think the decorations for Halloween could put you in a creative moment that you can create whatever you want. It doesn't have to be scary. It could be whimsical. It could be fun. It could be romantic. And it really can be whatever you want. And what I love about it, it's taking you from summer into fall. And I just love that time of year. And again, I love pumpkins. I have stuff in this house that I've probably had since my kids were born. So some of this stuff is from 22 years ago. Like seriously, I used to take them to Sleepy Hollow every Halloween, and we would be at the CVS and we'd buy stuff. Some of this stuff is stuff, I mean, like the dog stuff. We did a dog theme year one year. A lot of it's from Amazon, I can't lie. A lot of it's from Amazon. A lot of it's stuff we picked up along our journeys when we travel. We do a lot of traveling as a family. So we'll be somewhere upstate or wherever we'll be, and we just start picking weird stuff up because that's the way the Wallaces roll. A lot of it is from just my house. All right, we're not done with the rest of the house. That was just the parlor floor, or the first floor we call it. We're gonna head on down to see the backyard, but I just wanted to show you the way we have the spiders going up the stairs and down the stairs. My dogs hate it. They really won't go up the stairs now, so now we have to carry them up the stairs. Anything for holiday decor, carry the dogs up and down, but let's go downstairs and we'll check out the backyard. Well, this is my girl, Miss Jack-o'-lantern, And she is the one who surveys who comes in and out of the backyard, so do not mess with her, all right? Can I let them go out? She says yes. Okay, sorry. Oh, this is really important. Hairspray. You must put them on your pumpkins. Not for any other reason like there's hair growing out of them, because hairspray keeps your pumpkins from getting moldy and old, and also away from rats and from, what else? From bugs and from flies, and it will make them last a lot longer. So it doesn't matter what kind, it matters that they don't have a scent. So get as much hairspray as you can get and spray your pumpkins. Okay, that's on my to-do list. All right, let's go outside. So we're in the backyard with all my pumpkins and gourds, and these are just some of the leftovers, not leftovers, but from the 4,000 pumpkins that I got at the auction. And we placed them all over the place. And then we created a little moment in the fountain. See the guy, he's the dead guy with his cauldron, and then the mermaid, the dead mermaid, and the dead fish. And then in the cauldron, we have more dead things. And then we created the pumpkins everywhere. And I just love some of these. You know, I love all the different shapes. And there's more shaped pumpkins over there. And then what I like this year is I got these little pumpkins. They're called Ladies at Lunch. I just thought that was the greatest name. And I love being able to line them up through the whole house. This whole side of the house lights up at night. So when you're going up and down the stairs in my house, this backyard is actually a connection of the house. So we have lights in this backyard from the tree that downlight everything. So it's not just like a black hole. So this becomes a very deep connection to that. So you get to see all these pumpkins, whereas this almost becomes another room to the house. So when you're coming down the stairs or up the stairs, you're looking down at all this, and it's super pretty. And I can show you guys, if we go up the stairs, what you're looking down at. We created like a little montage here, because this is what you see. And we kind of wanted to be a reflection of the indoor and the outdoor, of what is indoor. What is indoor will be outdoor. And so we wanted to carry that theme throughout. So, and of course we'll be having a Halloween party, of course. And so we wanted to make sure we carried that theme out here. I just seriously love, you can't make fun of me, I love going to the Halloween auction. It is in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. And what I find fascinating is you go to this pumpkin auction, and when I say it's an auction, I'm not kidding you. You are bidding on pallets of pumpkins with a bidder. They're going 5, 2, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm bidding up against Whole Foods, big botanical gardens, and all this. And what you realize is, it's like you don't know where your food's coming from. Well, you don't know where your pumpkins are coming from. People think that they're going to pumpkin patches, but really they're coming from these auctions. What they do is they take these pumpkins and put them in the fields, like you think you're getting from pumpkin patches, but you aren't. And it's coming from these pumpkin patches that are run by the Amish, which to me is so incredible. And when I see these, I feel like I know where they're coming from. It's like, when you know where your food's coming from. So I have a very deep connection to these pumpkins. And I love going out there. I love the feel of them, the way they look, the smell of them. So yes, I have a very deep connection to my pumpkins. And then I like adding the next layer of it. I like the decorating of it. I like the candy. I like the decor, and I like the smile it brings on people. I know it's supposed to be scary, but I don't do the really scary stuff. That kind of freaks me out. I don't like the things that pop out at you. I do like Barry. But I like the fun part of Halloween. So that's what Halloween means to me. It brings joy to me. That sounds kind of weird, but it does. Would I consider this to be my dream home? 100%. This sounds so corny, but I feel so lucky to be in this home and have this home. I you know, once I got to New York, you know, you move to New York thinking you're gonna move in like a cool apartment, like from, what's it, like, you know, you're growing up watching Sex and the City and Friends, and you just assume you're gonna move in a cool apartment, and you get to New York and you move in a shoebox, you know? So once I started working and getting on my feet, I always thought, wow, how cool would it be to be in a brownstone and do Stoops and have a home in New York City and have property and be part of that history in New York. So for me, yes, I am living in my dream home, and I never thought I would ever be able to have anything like this. So for me, yes, this is my dream home. I feel so lucky. I love having it. I really wouldn't want anything else but this, and it's perfect for me. It's the right size. I wouldn't want anything any different at all. No, I'm totally happy with this. So yeah, I'm very happy. I don't know what I'm gonna do as I get older and have to walk up and down the stairs. So I might just be sleeping on the parlor floor, but I'm okay with that. So yeah, this is definitely my dream home. I wanna walk in, and when I close the doors, the world is quiet behind me, and I feel safe, and everything around me. So everything in my house has a meaning behind it. It's not just furniture or table or a rug. Everything that is in my house is something, has a meaning, or a sofa has a texture. It means something to us, or myself, or my family. So for me, a home is my sanctuary. And I would imagine it is for my family too. So for me, that's what a home is. I don't want a cookie cutter home. I mean, you're not really seeing exactly the way my house typically looks, but we have tons of family photos. We have things passed down from my grandparents. And I like, when I look around my house, to come in and, this is my home. It's unique to us, and that's what makes it special. And that's what makes this my home and my family's home, and not anybody else's home. And that's what makes it unique, and that's what I love about my home. Homeworthy, thanks for coming by today and letting me show you my haunted house. Hopefully I'll get to see you over the holiday season, and have a good day. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.